Okay, so we can only meet the right people if we met ourselves deeply. That's like a statement I read somewhere, and I think it is very true because we have to date ourselves first in order to find the right people, find our group, and actually know what we want. And it's also true that no one will ever meet you as deeply as you can meet yourself, because as humans we always want to be understood, and I guess that's also why we like to explain ourselves and like to figure out our emotions and explain it to ourselves first before explaining it to anyone else. But we will never be able to fully describe what is within ourselves and within our minds to others. And I think with meeting ourselves, we have to undiscover like the truth, like who we are really internal before like the world told us to be what we are. Maybe I'm not saying like you're not the most honest and truest version of yourself, but I think we are all kind of manipulated in a way by people, opinions, media, role models, standards, just so many different things. So in order to meet the right people, we first have to get to know ourselves, and especially when you're like growing up and like finishing high school, when you're like 18, you kind of feel like you understood yourself or understand yourself at the time and at the moment, and you know what you want and what you don't want. And that might be true in some ways, but I think especially after graduating from high school, which is like a time where you are very influenced by teachers, the subjects in class, and so many things, and you're still living with your parents that obviously have a big influence on yourself as well. Like I also knew what I wanted, but I wasn't really confident about my decisions, if it makes sense. Like I knew I wanted certain things, but they seemed a little bit out of reach, even though I never was someone that would limit myself to anything. I knew like I could make it happen, but it was just like, I don't know, hard in a way to like stand your grounds and just continue to believe in yourself. And also I did have expectations on like my friendships and on the people that were like closest to me, and I thought like I wanted this, like those kind of people to be my friends, or like be with these kind of people, but that was like because I didn't really know so much about myself and about groups and about what is actually important. And I remember like one story which is about, like, let's say you love vanilla ice cream, and you will always order vanilla ice cream, so all your friends think you love vanilla ice cream because that's what you told them and that's what you tell yourself. But deep down you're like a chocolate ice cream person. You just don't want anyone to know, and no one will ever order your chocolate because they assume you're a vanilla ice cream person. And that's kind of like a nice metaphor to describe why we have to be very honest with ourselves, and then also in the way we communicate with people and how we interact with people. Because if we are not honest to ourselves and kind of try to be something we are really not, and also something that we don't actually want in our life, we will still attract the people like what we tell them. Like you will attract vanilla ice cream people if you never accept the fact that you're a chocolate ice cream person. And yeah, so I think in order to actually know what kind of people we are looking for, we have to like spend time alone and maybe time with different sets of people to like figure out how we feel. And I think in the process it's always very important to be reflective, and also if you're maybe in like a tricky situation, or around people where you're just not sure if they are supportive or if they can be helpful for your self-development or for your business or for whatever you're like going after in your life. I think sometimes, and that's like a thing that I just recently learned, it's more important to understand and reflect and see it in a very mature way, like see the flaws of the people and how they could negatively influence you, but also see the positive effect. And I think it's also if you're like certain about the things that are happening, and if you know, okay, that might not be all positive for you right now, but you can still take these positive effects out of it. You can just use any opportunity way better for like your own purpose and your own self-discovery. And we are never limited to like a certain place or groups of friends. And also I think people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But we can only know the answer to that question if we know ourselves deeply.